Welcome everyone to the 123rd Celebrity Synastry chart reading, where we will be looking into Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Madeline and it is so nice to meet you. On this channel, I look at the dynamic between two celebrities using astrology. For those new and returning, I take notes on a synastry chart looking at the personal planet signs aspects and if birth times are available, house overlays. I share these notes and add my extra insights and interpretations along the way. So if that sounds good to you, subscribe and click the bell to join us weekly, and let's get right into this one. Starting off with the sun, we have Gigi's sun in Taurus and Bradley's sun in Capricorn. These are both earth signs. They're a good team. They feel they can rely on the other. They share similar philosophical and intellectual thoughts, and they both need to make time to enjoy life and not be so serious. They prioritize practical matters, which I feel like a couple of these are leaning towards potentially they're both maybe on the same page of parenthood. I'm pretty sure Bradley has kids of his own. That would be awkward if that's wrong. But I assume like this would all be related to like the kids he has or they have and everything, and like prioritizing their family life over their relationship, if that makes sense, because that would be their main like practical focus, their day-to-day life. Gigi's sun overlaid in Bradley's 5th house. They have creative and fun dates, and Bradley enjoys the adoration from Gigi. Bradley has great love for Gigi, and they have a desire to have children together. That's an interesting one because I'm pretty sure they both had only one child each. I'm not sure about Bradley, but I'm pretty sure that they both only have like one parent. It's not like they have like multiple baby daddies, multiple baby mamas and all of that. So that's an interesting thing to throw in there. Gigi defines beauty according to Bradley, and Gigi may be overlooking Bradley's flaws, which I feel like is an interesting thing now, because I feel like Bradley used to be very popular and well liked, and now that has kind of gone away. That sort of like star, like, perception that people had of him. So that's interesting to put in there. Gigi sees Bradley as a source of pleasure, and it's characterized by luck and pleasure. Bradley's sun overlaid in Gigi's 9th house. They teach the other, and it's a great and enduring friendship. It's a relationship of mental stimulation, and they both share similar views, which we did see the whole day share similar philosophical intellectual thoughts, so that is very much there. Not surprising to see also that this would be an intellectually stimulating relationship. They both influence the other to be more culturally aware. I don't know where that would be coming from. The only way I could see that is they do have partners or like the parents of the children. They do come from different, backgrounds that aren't American. Like we have Gigi, she's like, Zane, the English background and everything. And then Bradley, I believe the mother of his child is Irina Shayk, which that would be, she has the Russian background and everything. So that's the only way I could see that. Otherwise, they're both American. I'm not sure where else they would influence the other to be more culturally aware. Gigi's sun square Bradley's Venus. Their views on the world clash, so potentially when it comes to more like serious things, their views clash. Otherwise, intellectually it's pretty similar, it seems like. It's not as promising as it looks. I feel like to them, I don't know if anyone is looking at this couple that are madly obsessed with them. I feel like a lot of people are on the more confused side, so I assume this is just between them. Love can easily turn into hate, and they have arguments over money. Gigi is selfishly ambitious, and Bradley strives to keep the relationship balanced. Okay. They both hope to find what they are looking for in the other. Gigi's sun opposite Bradley's Uranus. Separation occurs, and it's an exciting relationship, not surprisingly. So like they both have their own lives to get through. It's not like these two are like, super young. Gigi's obviously young, but like they're not like super young, super like free necessarily, single people that can just do whatever they want. Like they have their own like careers, their own families and everything. So of course separation would occur at some point. The relationship starts quickly and Gigi feels burdened. Gigi finds Bradley to be insensitive, and Bradley will likely feel trapped by Gigi over time. This is an odd thing to consider when we just saw that Gigi is selfishly ambitious. I assume maybe she's just more on the selfish side of things, But the whole ambitious thing, like, does Gigi want this relationship to keep going for those selfish ambitious reasons? And then Bradley's just not with it. I'm curious to see if we'll see a bit more anything related to this. Bradley's Sun, Trine Gigi's Mercury. They have a great friendship, which we've already seen the friendship thing. I wonder if maybe they did start off as friends or something like that. They have good communication and Bradley accepts Gigi and they both just get each other. It seems like on an intellectual level they do. They do business together well and Bradley supports Gigi's beliefs. Again, not surprisingly so. I wonder like what types of beliefs, because we did see their views on the worlds clash, so there obviously is something that they disagree on. I assume there are certain things though, like they would have some kind of common ground with. Bradley feels he can think better around Gigi and they can talk through issues together. Bradley gets what makes Gigi tick and Bradley admires Gigi's intelligence, which we were seeing how Gigi seems to put him on a bit of a pedestal, really admires him and everything, so it's nice that it's a bit reciprocated. They understand each other on a basic level and they speak to each other with understanding, and Bradley allows Gigi to express herself. I'm kind of getting the impression as well, like with just what we've seen, like more of that they feel quite positive around the other. And we did see that, you know, they have those creative and fun dates and all of that. You know, there are those fun elements here. I wonder if this is just kind of like a sort of a refreshing relationship in a sense, like they go to each other when they want like a break and a breather from their life maybe.
Now for the intermission, this video is brought to you by me, my Etsy store, Adeline the Astrologer. If you ever watch this and think, hey, I would like her to read my Synastry chart, well, I will. I do personalized Synastry chart readings on my Etsy store. I do both basic and detailed ones. The basic ones are a bit more simple to understand and really good for those just beginning out in astrology, getting their heads around it, or just as a fun gift idea. The detailed readings are very similar to what I do here, so it's a lot of it just with my insights and interpretation on the chart. So if you're interested in that and everything else, astrology and tarot, readings and gifts, definitely check out my Etsy store for that. I'm always releasing new other things there as well. And you can even just favorite the store just to support me for free. Thank you for listening and let's get back to the reading.
So now it's time for moon. We have Gigi's moon in Aquarius and Bradley's moon in Libra. These are both air signs. It's a friendship and it's not super emotional, which, I mean, with what we have been seeing, we haven't really seen anything emotional. We'll see where that goes though with the moon. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if these two were like, I don't know, like some kind of like friends, or like they were in a relationship, just they have that very strong friend dynamic where they can just go to each other to like sort of like rejuvenate in a way. They enjoy conversing together and they both see their relationship objectively. Gigi thinks Bradley is too needy. We've only seen this once on Gigi's end, but Bradley's end we already saw a couple times he potentially sees Gigi as a bit more like needy, wanting to hold on to this relationship. So that's interesting. It's kind of been reciprocated on Gigi's end. Gigi's moon overlaid in Bradley's second house. Gigi values Bradley as a source of emotional satisfaction, and Bradley may feel unsure about Gigi. Not really surprisingly so, like the whole like him feeling like, you know, he's trapped by Gigi, she's a bit more selfish and ambitious, like you would feel a bit unsure. Bradley may become too possessive of Gigi, which is, I assume, why she would see him as maybe being more needy. They both see each other as valuable and it's a practical relationship. I would not be surprised if this was more practical, as I've said already a couple times. Like, if this wasn't a ridiculously serious relationship, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we did see the desire to have children together. I wonder if something like that will come up again, because that's the only like super serious thing we've seen so far. Bradley's moon overlaid in Gigi's sixth house. Bradley has conflicting feelings towards Gigi, we're seeing again, and they are both too helpful to each other, and it can be beneficial working towards a common goal. Okay, this is kind of leaning towards a bit more points as to maybe Gigi's selfish ambitions, maybe? It is easy to create a resentful relationship. I feel like on Bradley's end, definitely, he seems quite confused and kind of has reasons to be a bit confused as well. Their moons are trined together, so there's a desire to nurture each other and they're sensitive to each other's needs. They do seem to be able to like read each other quite well. It seems like be quite in tune. They just get each other and all of that we've seen. It is long-term or marriage, so potentially another serious factor. They share similar tasks and they both feel comfortable together. They enjoy creating a home together. I wonder if maybe like they see each other like being in a way like co-parents, like creating a blended family together. Because we saw like the desire to have children together and all of that. I wonder if that is just a desire to maybe raise their children together or something like that related to that. Family plays an important part in the relationship, not surprisingly. So I feel like not only with like their kids and their, I was going to say partners, their parents to their children and all of that, but also on Gigi's end, from what has been seen previously, Gigi's mum, Yolanda, seems to have a strong part in the relationships, particularly with Gigi. So I wonder if maybe that is also a play on Gigi's side. They feel safe together and there's a tendency to avoid hurting each other, and there's a possibility of being too accommodating to each other, which we did just see with them both being too helpful to the other. Gigi's moon is sextile Bradley's Mars. They are open with each other and Bradley feels more assertive. I mean, not surprisingly so, but he is, a lot older than Gigi, so that would be there. Gigi makes Bradley feel at ease and there is mutual fascination. I think on both ends, it's not super shocking. Gigi, she is like still, I feel like a very like well-regarded model in, famous, I should say, not necessarily well-regarded. She's famous. She's still kind of an it girl and everything, whereas Bradley, even though he seems to be past his prime, like he definitely used to be one of those celebrities most people had a celebrity crush on and all of that. So it's not surprising on both ends there would be that sort of mutual fascination. Bradley helps Gigi be more confident and bold, and Gigi feeds into Bradley's ego, which we have been seeing before, that she seems to really admire him and all of that. It can be tumultuous at times, and they both learn about themselves here. Bradley's moon is square Gigi's Neptune. They misunderstand each other's signals, and there's a possibility of neglecting each other. Again, going back to the whole separation thing, and obviously the family's playing a role in the relationship. Misunderstanding each other's signals, I'm not sure where that would come from. Maybe we'll see a bit more, because everything we have seen is they do seem to be quite like in tune with what the other needs. It's a confusing relationship. I feel like on Bradley's end, he seems to be a bit confused here. Bradley is unsure of Gigi's intentions, which we have kind of already seen with Gigi being selfishly ambitious and also Bradley feeling trapped over time. I feel like those are pretty good, ties to this one. It is also strange though. I don't know why she would be selfishly ambitious in this relationship. No offense to Bradley, I guess like besides like the literal fame thing, he probably is considered to be an A-list actor and all of that. I'm just not sure how that would necessarily benefit Gigi. There's difficulty maintaining relationship, and Bradley is sensitive to Gigi's moods. So now it's time for Mercury. We have Gigi's Mercury in Taurus and Bradley's Mercury in Capricorn. They prioritize practical daily matters and the relationship can get stale easily. That is something that has been kind of coming up, hasn't it? Like the whole neglecting each other, difficulty maintaining relationship, separation occurs and all of that. It seems to be just because they are just prioritizing their like families and all of that. They accomplish goals together and they both tend to neglect the relationship. Gigi's Mercury overlaid in Bradley's 5th house. Gigi is like the sun to Bradley and Gigi makes Bradley's day. I assume, generally, but also the ego boosting, I'm sure. They both encourage each other, which we have seen earlier also how like they both seem to allow the other to express themselves, which is nice. There is easy communication and it's not a boring relationship. I kind of see that, like, I feel like they both tend to get neglectful of the relationship. It seems like genuinely because they are busy. We haven't seen anything too, like, crazy red flaggy, if that makes sense. Gigi's, like, intentions are a bit iffy, but it doesn't seem like it's too overpowering. Like, Bradley's a bit confused, but he still seems to like her. It's, definitely not boring, I would say. Bradley's Mercury overlaid in Gigi's 10th house. It's hard to talk about things outside of goals and career. I wouldn't be shocked, because goals, they both have fairly young children. I'm sure your child's milestones would be a fairly, up there conversation. And obviously their careers and everything. Gigi may be fascinated with Bradley, and Gigi tends to idolize Bradley. We're seeing again, and also we did see the whole mutual fascination thing. So, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe, Gigi had some posters up of Bradley. She would have been at that age. They're a public couple, and it's a possibly one-sided relationship. There is a bit of weirdness about Gigi's intentions, but we haven't seen a whole lot. And in the real life context, I don't know what she could get out of this relationship. I know this is a kind of bad comparison, but it's with Bella Hadid and The Weeknd, there is something they both could have gotten out of their relationship, and they were both an it couple, and it kind of made sense business-wise. Unless I'm very out of the loop with something, or, this is probably why I don't work in Hollywood, setting up PR relationships, but I don't know what Gigi would be getting out of this one. Definitely let me know in the comments if you guys have any insight to this at all, because that is confusing me. They may like to work together, which the business thing we have seen. So maybe it is some secret business thing or behind the scenes type of business they have rather than super public projects, Gigi's Mercury, sextile Bradley's Jupiter. Bradley appreciates Gigi's thoughts and ideas, and there's open communication. They have a strong friendship, and Bradley often gives Gigi the benefit of the doubt. Not surprisingly. So I'm sure he enjoys the sort of how he feels around Gigi, or what Gigi does for him in that way, but also the intentions things. He seems to be confused. He seems to be confused in general here. Business together is beneficial, and they enjoy traveling together. They have an optimistic meeting. I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe started off as friends or something like that, because we keep seeing that thing, and that is an optimistic way to meet in a way. They intellectually stimulate each other, and they love to laugh together. Gigi's Mercury, sextile Bradley's Saturn. Bradley helps Gigi focus, and they solve problems together. Gigi feels she can learn a lot from Bradley. I think, this could be in terms of age, literal age and experience, in terms of, being in the public eye, having that fame experience and all of that. Also, I know both the kids are on the youngest. I'm pretty sure they're both on the younger side. I don't believe Bradley has some teenage son that, teenage son or daughter, I should say, that, he has all these years of parenthood and everything under his belt. But that could also be an area, getting insight from another parent on parenting and all of that. I'm sure that would be helpful for the both of them exchanging ideas like that. They have dry conversations, and it's a good business partnership. Bradley's Mercury, sextile Gigi's Saturn. This is a repeated aspect, just inverted. So everything from just before is further emphasized, but also Gigi helps Bradley focus, and Bradley feels he can learn a lot from Gigi. I think, again, the parenthood thing, they can both, I'm sure, get some insight from each other. Otherwise, I'm not really sure. Besides Gigi, she's in the fashion world. That is a very different industry to where Bradley's from, the whole fashion, even reality TV. You could see that as a place Bradley could learn from Gigi. Bradley's Mercury conjunct Gigi's Neptune. Spirituality is prioritized, and they have a telepathic-like connection. Bradley helps Gigi turn her dreams into reality. I'm glad we're getting some more information on what Gigi could get out of this, because otherwise I was very confused. So I don't know. We've seen a whole lot of business elements, so there is definitely potential they are just working on some background business or something like that. Otherwise, I don't know if Gigi wants to go into acting. I don't know if that's ever a thing. Most people tend to try to get into acting, it seems like. I'm not sure if Gigi is one of them, though. Habit of telling the other what they want to hear, and there's deceptive and exaggerative communication. Bradley finds Gigi confusing, yeah, not surprisingly. So as we've seen already, it's hard to talk about practical matters, and they are compassionate towards each other. So now it's time for Venus. We have Gigi's Venus in Aries and Bradley's Venus in Capricorn. These are both cardinal signs. Gigi is attracted to Bradley's dominance, which we did see. I think he feels more assertive here, which isn't really surprisingly so. It's long term, we're seeing again. So I guess this could, well, considering we've seen already a few of these more serious elements, it could definitely just be long term though, and not necessarily the most serious thing. Like, it's kind of another weird comparison. Like, I think Kris Jenner and Corey Gamble, like, it doesn't, obviously they're not like having kids together, or like they're not even married or anything like that. But it is just a long-term partnership they have where they're able to, you know, deal with each other. That's not the right wording. But, you know, coordinate their lives together and fit well and, you know, relax around each other and all of that sort of thing. Gigi desires to rile up Bradley, and Bradley finds Gigi stimulating. Okay. Bradley may feel like Gigi's parent. I'm never really obsessed seeing this type of note when it comes to relationships where it can actually kind of be interpreted that way. It's always a bit weird. Gigi's Venus overlaid in Bradley's 4th house. Gigi feels the need to protect herself from Bradley, and Gigi has a strong attraction to Bradley, which that we've seen. Not sure where she would feel the need to protect herself though, considering the whole reading, but that is there, maybe we'll see more. Bradley senses Gigi's hesitancy and there's strong magnetism. Uncertainty and tension characterizes their relationship. I mean, that has been sprinkled throughout the reading, hasn't it? Bradley's Venus overlaid in Gigi's 10th house. Work is their focus and they work well together, we're seeing again. Bradley sees Gigi as someone that can help him improve his status. See, this is where I kind of see a bit more as to what Bradley can get out of this, or purely considering that Gigi, I feel like she is more relevant. No offense to Bradley, but you know, Gigi is a bit more like, you know, young, fresh, relevant and all of that. And obviously not to say Bradley isn't successful, but I feel like in terms of relevancy, I feel like it would be Gigi. And, you know, to keep relevant with like the public eye, particularly young people, I'm sure Bradley could get a lot out of this. Gigi sees Bradley as having talent in areas she lacks. So I guess the acting thing maybe she's interested in, or business. Otherwise, I don't know. Their areas of expertise complement each other. Not really surprising considering their actual careers and everything. They respect each other's strengths and skills. It's a productive and profitable relationship, and they both want to be the boss. It seems like Bradley is a bit more leading into this and taking on this position though. Their Venus signs are sextile to each other, so they share similar ideals and they share similar taste in aesthetics, which we did say they are happy to create a home together, so that is there. Possibility of a friendship turned marriage. Yeah, they seem to have met as friends. I don't know if marriage is necessarily on the cards, but it seems like I wouldn't be surprised if this was one of those like long-term couples in Hollywood. They didn't necessarily get married, but they've just been together for a long time. They appreciate how the other dresses, handles money and socializes, and there's good decision-making skills as a couple, which we did see that they have arguments over money, which I know not by itself not the best thing. But I feel like considering this thing, it seems like they are at least having those discussions about more serious matters like money and all of that, which is good. You know, they're able to communicate. They cooperate on a basic level and they're at ease in each other's company. They both feel warmly about the other and they share a social life as a couple. They both want to make the other happy. Bradley's Venus conjunct Gigi's Uranus. There is instant attraction and they share unusual interests. The only thing with that, we did see like once they share some spiritual interests, so that's there. Bradley is attracted to Gigi's unpredictability. I see maybe her like youthfulness, but you could also see, we did see that Gigi has a desire to rile up Bradley, so I don't know if that would be connected in any way, but that's there. The initial attraction fades. I mean, we're not seeing that this fades and the relationship is doomed, so that's, you know, neutral. Bradley's Venus conjunct Gigi's Neptune. Bradley is sensitive to Gigi's needs, which we did see that he is sensitive to her moods, so he seems to be quite in tune in a way, sensitive to what she wants. Bradley sees Gigi as a soulmate and there is a dreamy energy when they meet, so again, the optimistic meeting you could see this as. Bradley finds Gigi very attractive, and Gigi initially encourages Bradley to have an idealized image of her. Bradley may project his ideals onto Gigi, and over time Gigi feels pressured to keep up with Bradley's image of her. Interesting. Kind of a deteriorating factor. I feel like this one and the initial attraction fading is, I feel like, the only deteriorating factors we've seen so far in this relationship, otherwise long term and everything. You could also see this because since we did see a lot of long term factors, you could just see this as the spark fading, because that is a common complaint within marriages. When you're married for a long time, the spark's not there, the honeymoon phase is over and all of that. So I wonder if it is just something as simple as that. The honeymoon phase is just over. Gigi may ghost Bradley. So if we hear about them separating, it's not a practical relationship. I mean, maybe for like them two when they're together, but it seems like their individual practical selves do influence the relationship and how it operates, if that makes sense. Bradley needs to look past Gigi's faults, and Bradley appreciates Gigi's imagination. It's a spiritual and magical meeting, and Gigi is easily charmed by Bradley. Bradley's Venus sextile Gigi's Pluto. They're consumed by each other, and it's unlikely to grow stale and routine. Bradley sees Gigi as irresistible. I feel like I'm a record player with this sort of like, Bradley loves Gigi, she's irresistible, he's charmed by her, blah blah blah. It's emotionally fulfilling. We haven't seen a whole lot of emotions, except that we did see how Gigi sees Bradley as a source of emotional satisfaction, I believe it was. But you could see this, the lack of emotions we've seen, as a way of them being fulfilled emotionally, because obviously not everyone needs a deep emotional connection, all of that. If that works for them, great. They both see disagreements as a way to understand the other more. Yeah, with what we saw, how they are able to discuss like more serious matters, like I wouldn't be surprised. It seems like they're quite comfortable, because we did see open communication is the thing here as well. So now it's time for Mars. We have Gigi's Mars in Leo and Bradley's Mars in Sagittarius. These are both fire signs. Bradley thinks Gigi is too defensive, and it's a passionate and adventurous relationship, which we did say the travel thing, so adventure is there. Gigi wants admiration from Bradley. I assume maybe this is just she wants her admiration to Bradley to be reciprocated back. Gigi's Mars overlaid in Bradley's 8th house. It's love-hate. The only thing we've really seen like repeated especially is Bradley's confusion with Gigi. Otherwise, from Gigi's end, we haven't seen the whole lot of like, disliking towards Bradley. Bradley feels possessive of Gigi. We're seeing again, it's a transformative relationship and they will never get over each other. Gigi feels drawn to Bradley, and Bradley feels like a damsel in distress around Gigi. Bradley feels mesmerized by Gigi, and it's a possibility of a taboo in the relationship. I mean, I feel like not the age gap. Even then, not to say that that's, no one is worried about that in a way, but I feel like the whole relationship in itself is a bit of a taboo. As I said earlier, I don't think anyone is particularly strongly rooting for them. Most people just seem to be quite confused and like, huh? Like, you guys are together? Bradley's Mars overlaid in Gigi's 8th house. So this is a repeated overlay, just inverted. So everything from just before is emphasized, but also Gigi feels possessive of Bradley and Bradley feels drawn to Gigi. Gigi feels like a damsel in distress around Bradley, and Gigi feels mesmerized by Bradley. Their Mars signs are trine together, so they give each other confidence, which I feel like we've seen repeated on both ends already. They're in sync, which I'm not surprised to see this, because we have seen mostly for Bradley to Gigi, like this sort of intuitiveness. He's quite sensitive to her moods and all of that. There's direct communication, and they challenge each other to do their best. They feel they can do anything together, and they do physical activities together. I wonder if it could be like sports, exercise, all of that. I wonder if this is literally like physical activities, like going out with their kids and all of that. There is healthy competition, and they energize the other when they are feeling low. I feel like this is kind of the gist of their relationship. It seems like this relationship seems to be quite energizing for them. Like, they're able to like see each other as the like rock and the sort of like safe space to like relax and calm down and all of that. Bradley's Mars conjunct Gigi's Jupiter. They're a lucky couple and there's healthy competition. They have lots of fun together. Bradley feels energized by Gigi and they feel stronger as a team than by themselves. They encourage the other to engage in reckless behavior. I mean, we've seen the whole adventurous thing, and I guess you could see Gigi wanting to rile up Bradley as being related to this. Bradley's Mars square Gigi's Saturn. Bradley tries to impress Gigi, and Gigi's standards are in conflict with Bradley's efforts. That's not great. Gigi may try to control Bradley as she thinks Bradley is immature, so I guess that's where the whole Gigi being possessiveness comes from, maybe wanting to control Bradley, and that is how he interprets it. She's just being very possessive of me. So that was the final aspect, bringing us to the end of the reading. If you are still watching, please share your thoughts below, especially if you guys do keep up with these people, because there are definitely a few sort of questions I had throughout the reading as I expressed that, there are certain things to this relationship I am a bit kind of confused about. So definitely share your thoughts below, and especially if you guys interpret any of this differently. If you have made it this far, please consider subscribing for more. I post these readings weekly. Besides that, give this video a like and I will see you guys next time. Bye!